I was holding a DNA result when my hand started shaking. Chris is my son, but he's 13, and I only met his mother 4 months ago. That's when I realized the past I buried had finally caught up with me. 13 years ago, I lost my father. That night, my mom and I were in the kitchen preparing dinner. My dad always came home by 8 p.m. every night, no matter what. At 7:30, my mom checked the time and smiled. "Your father will complain if the food gets cold," she said. By 7:45, he still wasn't home. The phone rang. An unknown number. My mom answered it, still smiling. "Hello?" I watched her face change. The smile disappeared first. Oh, then her hands started shaking. "Ma, we regret to inform you that your husband was accidentally shot during an operation at Wilson Street." The phone slipped from her hand. She screamed my father's name. At the hospital, I stood in front of his body, waiting for him to open his eyes and shout at us for crying. He never did. That was the night something inside me died too. The house became silent. Too silent. My mom stopped cooking full meals. She moved around like a shadow, always tired, always distant. At night, I could hear her crying through the wall. I would press my face into my pillow so she wouldn't hear me cry too. At school, teachers talked to me like I was fragile. Friends didn't know what to say, so they stopped saying anything at all. I started skipping classes because sitting still made my chest hurt. Nights were the worst. I would lie in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying the last time my dad spoke to me, wondering if I had said enough. Weeks passed. Nothing got better. I started spending more time outside because everywhere inside reminded me of what was missing. I was just looking for somewhere I didn't have to feel. That's when I met them, Andre Gang. They didn't ask questions. They just saw the pain in my face. One of them handed me a drink and said, "Whatever you're going through, this helps you forget." And for the first time since my dad died, my head went quiet. One drink became many. One night out became every night. I told myself I was in control. I wasn't. One night something happened. Something so dark, I never spoke about it again. The next morning, I cut off everyone I knew and convinced my mom we should move out of the state. I buried that night deep inside me and tried to start over. After 13 years of just exiting, not living, I met Amy. She worked at a small restaurant I stopped at after work. That day, the usual guy wasn't there. She was behind the counter, tying her apron, still learning the menu. I asked, "Are you new here?" She smiled. Third day. Something about that smile stayed with me all the way home. The next evening I went back because I wanted to hear her voice again. We talked while the food was being prepared. Small talk at first. Names, work, life. She laughed easily. I noticed she listened when I spoke, like my words actually mattered. Before I left, I asked her out. I surprised myself by doing that. Our first date was simple. No fancy place, just two people talking. I talked about my dad, about how losing him broke something inside me. She didn't interrupt. She didn't judge. She just listened. Then, in the middle of the date, she went quiet. She looked at her hands and said softly, "Fred, I need to be honest with you. I have a son. He's 13. I won't lie." My heart sank. I didn't know if I had the strength to take on something like that, being a stepdad to someone's son. She must have seen it on my face because she rushed to say, "I understand if you don't want to continue. Most men disappear after I tell them I am a single mother." That hurt more than I expected. I took a breath and said, "Kids are a blessing. I just need time to process." She nodded, but I could see the disappointment, like she already knew how this will end. That night I dropped her off and went home, and for 2 days I didn't call, but she didn't leave my mind. On the third day I called her. She sounded surprised when she picked up. "I thought you'd disappear like the others," she said. I smiled and replied, "I think if they stayed, I wouldn't have met you." That's when everything changed. We started seeing each other regularly, cooking together, laughing, singing badly to old songs. Eventually she introduced me to her son, Chris. He didn't like me at first. He watched me closely, like he was waiting for me to leave. But slowly we found common ground. Sports, movies, silence that didn't feel awkward. For the first time I felt like I belonged somewhere. Life felt peaceful. Until one evening my phone rang. It was Amy, crying and gasping for breath. Fred, Chris was hit by a car. We're at City Hospital. Please come now. As I grabbed my keys, a strange fear gripped my chest. I didn't know it yet, but that night was about to expose a secret I had been running from for 13 years.